Okay, so just talking a bit about stress and whatnot, because I was getting ready to do school. I was watching a debate on this side, just sort of overstimulating here and there. I turned that off, and I was feeling a bit stressed, so I was getting a bit worried. Therefore, I tried to meditate for 10 minutes. I got on a 10-minute meditation, and it worked a tiny bit. I still felt, it was sort of tickling in my chest. There were still a bit of thoughts going on. But then I also did the breathing sort of things. And I sort of, even though it's difficult, I tried to get my focus on the breathing instead of thinking this is not working and such. Just sort of trying to get the thoughts out of it doesn't work, it's not going to work, you're wasting your time. Just trying to get those thoughts a bit out and just let's give it a go. And it worked a tiny bit. And I also had a chat with ChatGPT and sort of going a bit sort of not down to earth, but I'm sitting here feeling stressed about a couple of things, but what are the issues, problems, what are the things, priorities, chores I need to do today, right now? And it turns out there aren't a lot. And the ones I have to do and will do are in this house. So it doesn't require too much and it's quite easy to do. So today I don't have too much issues. I don't have a crazy day. So if I'm sort of talking about and getting into the presence and sort of getting my mind into now, today, nothing much is going on. It's okay. I have a plan, I have a routine. And the one issue, the one problem sort of, and the one sort of stress going around is about practicing and getting ready for the exam. Now, that is only that is it's such a funny thing. You stress about a thing that sort of makes you worried, but you know the solution, which is practicing and being more prepared. So you have that. You have the PC here. You got the headphones for a bit of background music to read. Therefore, you have a solution. And a couple of worries on, well, where do I start? Where do I do this and that? And just just go out, sort of just try and start whatever and however try to learn the basics and work your way up towards what you want to try to sort of learn. The basics are very, very important. Just fuck, just don't care. Just fuck whatever sort of stress and fear you have about the future. You're living in, you're living now in the present. You're living in now, and it doesn't matter what or how it's going to work out in a couple of days or weeks. It only matters what you're going to do the day, the presence, the present of um, where you are, where you live, where you're alive right now, and that is here. So me, yeah, sure, there are going to be some trial exams, some sort of not necessarily looking forward to, but also the exams. But the only way I can gain the confidence and the calmness of feeling prepared this is going to work out, it only comes through preparing, planning, reading, learning. How do I do this? Opening my Mac, going on whatever sort of literature and different stuff I need and to accomplish that. And that is all on this thing that right here. So I got the plan. I have a way to do this. Therefore, I will execute. There is a worry about the quality that you do, but make sure that you sort of have just reading and sort of thinking, trying to sort of understand a couple of things you're reading about. That is, you're already towards understanding that, and that is sort of the way it goes and such, and you're going to be okay? Just reading about shit makes you sort of understand it a little bit. Yeah, there's something practical you need to do. So let's say you ask yourself a couple of questions, or there will be questions in the book about things that will sort of make you think about it. Use those, or use ChatGPT to ask you questions. And if you don't know, ask or find the answers to that. And you're sort of remembering, okay, oh, I don't know this one. Okay, I need the answers. I find the answers. Okay, I know this one. And then you will sort of remember it a bit better the next time. Okay, I actually know that I read about this. I tried to figure out the way, and it is that. It is this. Okay. Then you sort of continue on doing that and repeat, and on your way towards actually doing that. There are a couple of other stressful things, and it helps talking about it, right? It helps talking with someone about it. I'm living at home with my mom, a couple of family members as well, and I was sort of a bit worried about I'm 21 right now, still living at home. A lot of people I know doesn't brain fog, doesn't live at home anymore. And I was thinking, okay, is there a reason why I feel a bit sort of unsuccessful in that area, that I'm not independent as the other people? We all have different life factors, different things that sort of makes this where we are. And I think, okay, there's an economical thing. I save more money. I talked with my mother, which helps a lot, and there's a different answers to every parent, but she didn't mind me being here, and she actually liked, and she was talking about the worries of about my sister, right? Worrying about that she doesn't see her that much anymore, but me, we do see each other every single day because I live here, and it's sort of a bit of that worry goes away. It sort of lets a bit go. Okay, so the person that I am sort of worried about thinking about me this way doesn't really mind that. It actually helps that person, and whatever other people think, that doesn't really matter, at least if it's good for you. I mean, it isn't necessarily bad for me, and the person that actually are the boss, is the boss of this house, doesn't mind me being here. There's a certain place and a time where you should eventually move away, but right, that's a totally different discussion. But what I'm trying to say is it helps talking about shit to people and to whomever it may concern. And if you have real good friends, talking about your problems isn't a burden to them. It matters to them, because a good friend would be concerned about you, A good friend would try to sort of understand and sort of talk with you about it, talk about difficult stuff. And this is also where people can may be confused. Yeah, it helps asking just randomly it is important to do that sometimes, just asking how are you and how are stuff, and right. But also a lot of people are also worked up in their own world. They got different problems, things to do every single day, just like you, and they also have problems. So a lot of the time, and how the society works, you don't usually get that, right? So how about you do that? You ask a person how they're doing, and also talking about their problems with you helps. It helps because you also sort of get the idea that you're not the only one. You are not the only one dealing with this issue. Therefore, it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to have this issue, this problem, this worry, because you are not alone, okay? So, talk with people. Talk with people, stay in the present. Um, talk. As I did say talk, but talk like I talk about you with this. I was a bit stressed out when I spoke, before I spoke now, just about worries and stuff, and me telling myself this and sort of getting out helps, because I am sort of telling myself two times about the about how to handle it, and that it isn't a big deal, right? You can also write. Write helps. You can try to meditate. Try these stupid things, but that can actually help you. I know I will try and try to practice the guitar for some time today, because it helps me focus on different things. And you can get mentally tired by doing school all day. I don't think there's many people recommending doing and practicing school every single day, all the time, in a whole day, because it makes you quite tired, and it isn't necessarily that fun. It's important to make it a bit fun, a bit sort of enjoyable, but you get all these things right. You need to do two things, include things that you enjoy, and staying active, doing such things helps with stress, and sort of doing things that makes you focus. Playing the guitar, as I said, it makes me focus about hitting the next note, making it sound good, and damn, all the other thoughts and issues that I just had a couple of minutes ago, where I'm literally doing nothing, of course they're going to come through some thoughts. But whenever I'm still focused on doing the thing I was just trying to do, hitting the note, all those thoughts are out of the picture. It's all about the important thing of hitting the note. And yeah, I think also it's also a bit normal to have thoughts get into your head. It isn't necessarily unhealthy. You start questioning these things, and you sort of make sure, or your head or whatever, sort of make sure that you are staying on the right path, and making sure that you practice enough and all this stuff. But which can be good. It can be useful, but make sure that you have that second thought of, oh, am I practicing enough? Well, I am going to practice today, and I'm going to make sure that I am prepared on this sort of theme, and I'm going to make sure I practice good and remember and sort of doing these tasks today. If it doesn't go that well, that's fine. We're going to do maybe some more tomorrow. So try to sort of have that friend in your head. We all have that one. We all have the mean one. We all have that nice one. Try to make sure that the nice one is sort of overpowering a bit. So yeah, it's just that simple. I felt a bit stressed, and sort of nature as well helps a lot. And just watching, and this is also the thing, should be careful, and in a sort of this society, modern society and such, where the phone is a big factor. I was walking home from the gym in the city. I don't live in the city, but I would usually go on walks after. And I sat on the bench. I took off my headphones and just listened, watched people go. Wasn't necessarily staring at them such, but I was just looking around. And I felt so at ease, so calm, right? Just seeing other people doing their thing, having their lives just as you are. And it helps. And I sat on the porch, I sat outside the house. I didn't necessarily do anything. I did 10 seconds of breathing in a long time and breathing out a longer time for 10 seconds, 10, 15 seconds. And I felt good. And then I went back inside. The smell of just fresh air and the sound around, the cold due to it being winter, the season. And I just felt calm. And then I went back inside and I was okay. But also, just talking with people helps. I mean, if I ever feel a bit stressed or worried, I just go up to my mom and I just talk. I just talk with her about that. Or I just talk whatever gets out and whatever my thought is in my head. It doesn't necessarily need to be about problems, but I just ask her, how was her day? Or what do I need to do today? Do I need to do some chores and such, and whatever automatic thing that comes to my head. And that helps. It helps. And but also having sort of that sometimes a bit of not necessarily stillness, but a part of your day where you don't have all this noise and you just let your brain sort of gather all thoughts and just opinions and just sort of fire in your head and just sort of allow your brain to sort of think instead of just being on social media all the time. So yeah, I think it's sort of how I handle stress. I mean, all people handle stress and it can be useful. Just remember that it can be a tool, especially maybe it can even be a tool in practicing and doing school, in activities, things that make you sort of a bit nervous, that sort of heightens your senses, right? That's just way stress works. It sort of heightens stuff as well. So also use it to your advantage. It may help being stressed out sometimes, right? But you shouldn't be stressed out all the time, every day. There is a time and a place for everything. So yeah, just make sure you have it a bit controlled. And if you feel too much stress, it's probably the problem that you feel too much stress. Feeling stressed out before you're going to do something that isn't too familiar, or where it's something is expected of you, that is completely normal. And with due time and experience, that may sort of fade away. So it also sort of helps maybe to do different stuff, stressful stuff. I remember I was doing a thing we're doing an activity with my dad up in the country, and I humiliated myself and in front of 50 plus people, and it was so embarrassing. I did it from those and my dad. But the week after and the weeks coming, I didn't care about sort of humiliating myself or whatever people did, because I was like, I did this, I messed up and I humiliated myself, not in a sort of negative way towards people, but it was quite embarrassing for me. And I just stopped caring what people think, in the sense of I'm going to do what I like, and I'm going to do and try things that people are going to mock, laugh at. But that's fine, because if I did this, I'm going to survive this, right? Use it to your advantage. And you should be calm at some, usually you should be calm, but sort of sometimes doing things that stress you out, or sort of doing things that not stress you out, but do things that makes you uncomfortable, but in a good way. I remember being on my first job as an extra, in the movie. I was so stressed, but the more I did it, the more natural it became, and it, that sort of applies to maybe stress and anxiety as well. Not necessarily anxiety, I don't know too much about that, but you get what I'm sort of doing. And if you're sort of stressed about doing this and this, sort of fail, do it again, who cares? So yeah, that was a bit of how to. It isn't necessarily an S tier plan for you. It may not work for you, it may work for you, who knows, but try to test it out. You do have time, okay? Or we don't know, but okay, let's not talk about that shit. But yeah, try it out or use some of it. Maybe some will work, something will not. That's completely fine. And if nothing works for you, try to find something that works for you. If it's golfing, playing football, do that. If it makes you relax, do it. Okay, as long as it's not, on the sort of sacrifice on others. Of course, there are psychopaths out there. So yeah, hope you had a good day. Hope you will have a good day. This was a long video, but I do appreciate me getting out such stuff because it just tells me that I needed to get some out. So yeah, hope you had a good day. I think I already said that, but as I'll say it again. Hope you had a good day. Hope you will have a good day. I wish you the best. Have a laugh, have a smile, and be kind. There are certain things you can use as a tool rather than a disadvantage. You can use it as an advantage. Try to be smart with it. You can come far. Take care. Goodbye.